Hello, everybody, and welcome to the basement. This is the Basement Boys podcast. We're starting it up right now. We picked kind of the most terrible time to do it because we decided to do it right in the middle of a pandemic where we can't
Yeah.
even have the podcast together. So normally we'd be coming to you live from the basement. Unfortunately, I'm only coming to you live from the basement. Devin is in an undisclosed location in Oklahoma raising tigers.
Yo, man, them be some beautiful cats.
Um,
What? Cut it out.
So before we jump into everything, obviously, got to touch on the elephant in the room. Um, yeah, with the reason we're not together and like in the same room is of this whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing, and we're trying to do our part to socially distance ourselves and not not pass it on, not just because of us, because in our demographic, we're the type of people that it probably wouldn't even affect us that bad, but it's just everyone else around you, your mom, your dad, your sister, your someone who has a respiratory condition, something like that. So we're doing our part. We're getting this done, and yeah, it's kind of a scary time because we both work in the healthcare field. We're not like nurses or anything. We're not frontline. We actually work in the kitchens, but
We're
we still
back of the line.
yeah, um, but it's still scary just to go into that building every day, just
True.
knowing it's there. Um, so that's all I really wanted to say on it. Dev, do you have any words for the people?
Be smart. Wash your hands. And
Wash your fucking
seriously,
hands.
yeah, seriously, wash your fucking hands. Like I'm sick and tired of telling people that. Like I don't work at daycare anymore. I shouldn't have to tell you wash your hands. And also be mindful. Stay home if you ain't feeling well. We don't need that shit up in the air.
Then yeah, there you go. It's really all that simple. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way early. Um, so let's get into some actual topics we more likely to discuss than I don't know, just medical whatever. Um,
A doctor on TV, but that's about as far as my knowledge of the medical field goes.
exactly. So let's start kind of in our wheelhouse, kind of bread and butter. There's not much of it going on right now, but let's start talk some football free agency. I I think we should start at the very least with QB free agency because there's just so much been going on in the past few weeks that it'd be so incredibly hard to keep it all together. Anywhere you'd like to start in particular, Dev?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a hot take or if it's a warm take, but I've been saying for a while, Cam Newton is going to be a Charger. I'm calling it.
I'm pretty sure that's a very ice cold take. I don't know if it's warm. I don't think that's even room temperature. I mean, where else does he have to go?
Patriots.
I don't see the Cam Newton style in Belichick's wheelhouse. That just might be because I've only seen Tom Brady there besides and since Drew Bledsoe. And Drew Bledsoe is, I'm pretty sure, 107 years old.
I think he might be 106, but we're splitting hairs.
So yeah, like I guess I haven't really seen him have the chance. So maybe I could be completely wrong on that. But I would never, it would never be my first choice to think, you know what, Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, that's a team that works.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, most of the jobs are already taken. Like if he's going anywhere, it's probably as a backup. But the Chargers, they're kind of in this weird, like little limbo where they say they want a veteran quarterback. They're going with Tyrod, but that could just be a smokescreen. So it might just be like, hey, let's try it out. Let's get to Tyrod 2.0 or updated version of Tyrod Taylor.
I could definitely see that, and I saw they posted something on social media together. Like Tyrod posted something on his social media of them training together. So I mean, that's another reason that you could think they could go there. But I think a lot of people are ruling out the Bengals in this scenario because there are plenty of teams who need a quarterback who have multiple first round picks. Um, I want to say Miami has a few first rounders this time around, right?
Yeah, they do. I think
Yes.
they actually have 13 or something like that. Something ridiculous. Or my fault. I'm sorry. 13 total draft picks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I could see them trading out of that number one spot if they're not 100% sold on Joe Burrow, moving on to the next level. So if they picked up a guy like Cam Newton, who's probably, if I had to guess, felt a little pressure now with all the people not with all the jobs being taken up. So I feel like he might be willing to take a little more team-friendly deal just to play as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they trade back out of that number one slot, man, there's boundless options for them.
True.
And that's a team that's not made a lot of good decisions over their times.
No.
So it's not like they have this roster that's beefed up. They have plenty of other holes besides quarterback.
I mean, Andy Dalton is not that bad of a quarterback. He's just got a crappy team around him.
I think Andy Dalton is not someone who is gonna win you a whole lot of games on his back, though. I feel like if Cam Newton's healthy and he's the Cam Newton of old, he could do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sold on Andy Dalton in that way.
Right.
And that might be because he's been behind some bad teams, but even the quarterbacks that had success there didn't have great teams. I mean, there are some outliers in there, but for the most part, there's a reason they haven't won a playoff game in however many years.
That's a good point. But do you think Dalton stays in Cincinnati, or do you think they ship him out, or is he a free agent right now?
I'm honestly not sure. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't follow Andy Dalton's contract specifics because I really don't follow Andy Dalton in the slightest. But I definitely, I mean, unless they do bring in Burrow and it's apparent to them upon like spring training, or if they even still have him then, Dalton, if it's like, I could see them keeping him just to make sure that Dalton is NFL ready his first year. Because
you mean?
But and then maybe if worse came to worse, have him sit behind him for a year. But I could see him doing the same thing with Cam Newton.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing for Burrow to learn from Cam Newton.
And I just want to make it perfectly clear that I have no basis for this. I've not heard anyone in anyone's camp even slightly mention this. I just think it's a concept that has not been talked about. And yeah. I think it would be potentially a good move. Because you have Mixon back there, Cam able to mix it up with the run and the pass, and AJ Green, who has just been wasting away there for years now.
Yeah, I mean, poor AJ Green. He just needs to get healthy. God damn, man. Give him a quarterback. Give him a team. Like, this man deserves it.
He's a guy you feel bad for. He's a guy who has all the skills in the world, but just never was able to get any other major type of tool around him.
Right. Because I think, well, when he was younger, it was him and Dalton and who the hell was the running back? I don't even know who the running back was. But yeah, it was just them two, and that franchise did nothing for them.
All right. Well, I will admit, though, that Chargers is probably the most likely scenario for Cam if he's going to be a starter. which I still think he should be, especially with the quarterback light league we have right now.
Right.
There's a lot of people who are not making good plays, and Cam at least has a reason behind it because it's his shoulder. If a team is confident that they can at least work with what he's got, even if it is at a diminished level, I think he's still. I'd take him over Mariota. I take
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like I take him over Case Keenum.
Oh God, I forgot about Case Keenum. I always forget about him. I'm sorry if you're listening out there, Case Keenum, but I really forget about you, man. I'm sorry.
Yo, you know Case Keenum not listening to this. Let's just be real with ourselves. Yeah, so let's get away from Cam Newton a little bit. Jameis Winston's also still out there, and even though someone's going to catch the ball, you don't know if it's exactly his team, but someone's going to catch that ball. He throws a very catchable ball.
True, but he got the LASIK surgery, so hopefully it's his team that's catching it now.
And I mean, he still threw 5,000 yards, man. Like, people are just forgetting that because no other quarterback in the league last year had the opportunities to throw as many interceptions or touchdowns as he did. I'm not saying he converted them more than anyone else or anything. You know what I mean? I'm just saying he definitely. I don't know what his attempts are for the year off the top of my head, but it has to be first in the league. It has to be.
I would imagine so. I mean, you don't throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions without just taking a whole bunch of attempts and everything.
And then still throwing all those interceptions and still throwing for over 5,000 yards.
Right.
Still leading the league in yards. Like,
right.
that is...
Just imagine if he didn't throw those interceptions, where the Bucs would have been.
I mean, I think that's why they went with Tom Brady. someone who can actually protect the ball for you.
Right.
You definitely... I mean, I guess that's how we get into Tom Brady. Like, fucking Tom Brady with Chris Evans, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. I was very surprised and not surprised that BA shut Antonio Brown, because that would be the best wide receiver core ever.
Dude, that's some Madden type shit. That's like, hey, that's an all-star team right there. Let's be real.
That's Madden when you switch the rule to the team has to accept your trade. That's the type of Madden you get.
True.
It is actually insane that Tom Brady managed to do this. And the last place I thought he was going was Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I thought he was going to stay in New England, ride out the last 2-3 years, go off into the sunset, and then go back to Cali eating his avocado ice cream. But damn, that team is going to be fun to watch. I'm not going to lie.
I never thought he was going back to New England. Maybe it's just because, like, I'm a Jet fan. He's a Giant fan, so he's in my division, so I kind of have to lock in on Brady a little more.
Yeah.
But even though everyone locks in on Tom Brady. So I've kind of been noticing the feud, and I know everyone's been talking about it, and it's not like it was hidden, but I guess I was more hyper-focused on the feud because I have to watch his every move because he's in my division.
And let's be real, he's been tormenting you guys for the last 20 years?
And every second of it has been torment, I promise you. I don't think anyone understands how happy I am that Tom Brady is out of my division, because especially off the Patriots, like, I wouldn't even care if he was in Miami. I was rooting for Fitzmagic as long as he wasn't beating us. You know what I mean?
I think everyone was rooting for Fitzmagic.
I feel like you can't not root for Fitzmagic, but that's a whole nother topic. I want to be able to appreciate the greatness that is Tom Brady, because while I accept it, it's hard to appreciate it when it's making your life a living hell for 20 years. So it it's gonna be nice. It really is gonna be nice.
And you're gonna have two great games at the very least when the Bucks and Tom Brady play Drew Brees and the Saints. Like, tell me that's not going to be a fun game.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of his matchups in that division. I really didn't.
I've been thinking, dude. I've been thinking about Brady versus Brees. Once this went official, I was like, yo, I can't wait. Like, whenever that game is, I'm circling it on the calendar. I might even DVR the TV because that might be an instant classic.
Well, that's if we even get it with this whole, but that's a whole other topic. I'll be so upset. Yeah. So Tom Brady, he's doing his thing as Tampa. I'm gonna love it. Any other big free agency moves you want to talk about?
I mean, Philip Rivers went to the Colts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Me and Devin were big fans of Pat McAfee. And
No.
he's been saying that for a long time, man. He's been saying him to the Chargers. I know he's close to the organization being a former Colt, so he might have had some insider information, but I did not believe him for a second. I really didn't.
It was all Vinatieri. Vinatieri's leaking the information.
No, he's got standings with all of them. He talks to Irsay on the regular.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when you can call up the owner and be like, "Hey, buddy, I need a jet. Can you help me out?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem. Just bring it back with gas in the tank." Like, you're in good company up there.
Yeah, so I guess I should have read into it more knowing how good of company he had. But he was spot on, man. I did not expect that one at all. I was honestly thinking Rivers was going to retire.
I thought he was. Once you move to Florida with your whole family, I thought that's it. He's going to be a dad, coach his football team of a family up and everything. Because what's he got, like 33 kids or something?
I was about to say that is not a family. That is an entire town that he moved to Florida.
They might be like one of the major incomes for that state now.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's not even a question. But they don't state income tax, so he was smart there with Florida. That was a good one on him.
Well played, Philip Rivers. Well played.
And then good on Ryan Tannehill, man. Got fucking paid.
Yo, dude. Well played. First off, you're getting paid from Miami. Go to Tennessee, sit there behind the bench, and then wait for your turn, and then light it up. And then Tennessee comes back and is like, yo,
paid for like half a season's work.
Yo, and now he's got the defense. He's got Derrick Henry, at least for one more year. Like, watch out, Tennessee.
Derrick Henry, talk about putting a whole team on your back, like,
yep.
And getting your quarterback paid off of it, and that's why they can't pay you
this year.
I don't know if they. Tannehill's making decent money. I don't know if they can pay both of them.
They'll figure it out. They got Vabro will like I don't know. He'll find the money. I mean, they got the new salary cap. I think it's extra 30 mil. Maybe no, my fault. 10 mil extra. I don't know.
I know they went from 48% to 49%.
Yes.
Revenue share.
Right. So there's money.
That's a lot of fucking money when you're talking about the billions of dollars.
Yo, break me off a small chunk of that and I'll be happy.
Yeah, right? Give me a solid 1% of that 1% and I'll be straight for life.
Yo, I'll be number 53 on the 53-man roster. I'm okay with that. Pay me the veterans minimum. I'm cool.
Yeah, right? I'll take the Vetman. You know who won't get the Vetman?
Who's that?
AB for Bruce Arians. He shut that shit down.
I don't blame him, man. Like, you can only have one crazy ass person in your organization, and I think that might be BA himself.
Yeah, but he didn't even entertain it. And like, I get it. I really get it. I understand that he's been accused of crazy things, but and like, I'm not even saying those accusations are wrong. Like, we have not had all the facts come out yet. Like, and I tend to err on the side of the accuser until the facts come out, and then we can break it down. You know what I mean? But when has that ever mattered in football?
Never.
Exactly. And I'm not saying to the fans, I'm saying to the coaches.
Right.
And honestly, even some of the fans.
I
Who's
mean,
your who's your favorite player, Dev?
the great number 52, Ray Lewis, middle linebacker, Baltimore Ravens.
Exactly. And he killed the guy. So um
Look real though. Look at the Patriots, and they're willing to take any problem child of the NFL, from being Randy Moss, I think Corey Dillon.
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Cause yeah,
Aaron Hernandez.
while they didn't know he killed a guy or multiple guys, like it's not like he did not have a record of violent shit, and it's not like he did not have a record of doing shady shit.
And if you honestly though, if you can't make it work with the Patriots, I don't know, man. You might need to go get some real help. Like,
Bill Belichick would not care if you shot his mother in front of him if it meant another Super Bowl ring. And you can quote me on that. Like, I don't care. Like, you're telling me that Antonio Brown couldn't make it work with Bill Belichick?
yeah, all he had to do was just show up and not text this accuser. And what did he do? He showed up and texted his accuser like an idiot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, seriously, get the fuck out of my face with that. Like, this guy is so dumb. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like, I understand, like, CTE is probably in play here and this and that and this, but, like, someone has come out saying they're going to sue you, and you go, like, you have to know better than that, especially when you're making that type of money and you have that type of fame. Someone has told you that before.
Right.
And you not listening to that is your fucking problem.
I'm pretty sure his lawyers told him no contact with this person at all. Like, not now, not ever, none.
They had to have. Unless, like, never even stepped a foot in a law school. Like,
You don't need to step in foot in law school to know don't text your accuser.
exactly. Like, I could have
Like,
told you that. You could have told you that. They could have told you that.
dude, I'll tell you that as I'm doing dishes at work and everything, trying to avoid the COVID-19.
All right.
I had to try to bring it back real quick.
All right. So I think we should let sleeping dogs lie with old football content that everyone else has already talked about. Um,
We've
and
had this to talk about right now.
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Um, but there's little things coming out. Football free agency is really, really helped driving things along. I was going very stir crazy. Um, but right now, if you don't mind, Dev, I'd like to pull it a little bit into my wheelhouse a little bit because there are two very new and very upsetting stories for me, at least.
Oh shit!
There's a reason I'm wearing the shirt I am today. It's my UFC Brooklyn shirt. I got it when I went to the show last year.
Where is Brooklyn at?
And it's already been out there that like it's obviously not going to be in Brooklyn anymore with all the COVID-19 stuff going on. But they've been saying for months, pretty much since it started, that that's the fight they're going to save. This is a fight that has been booked 4 other times.
This
And
is the one
Dana
that was right.
and Dana said, "I am not giving up this fight. It is going to happen April 18th. There will be a fight somewhere, but there will be a fight." And then Khabib Nurmagomedov puts out on his social media today that because of the lockdown in Russia, he cannot make it out of the country for the fight.
No.
So
Yeah.
apparently, it is floating around that they are trying to book Justin Gaethje against Tony Ferguson in Khabib's place, which is a fucking incredible fight. That is a fight I am so hyped for. But this is the 5th time they promised me Khabib Ferguson, and I still haven't gotten fucking Khabib Ferguson. I was very upset when I found this out at work earlier. I couldn't even talk to Devin about it. Like I had to put it out of my head. Because Devin's not exactly into fighting as much as I am. Fighting is definitely my wheelhouse, but Devin's the perfect guy to talk to fighting about because he's someone who doesn't know a lot of fighting but is interested.
I will listen.
So I will ramble for fucking an hour about these things. And Dev just soaks it in. So usually he'd be the first person I run to. But I was just so upset by the news, I couldn't even bring myself to talk about it.
That's cool, man.
This is the biggest fight in UFC history, in my opinion. It is the 2 highest caliber guys, except for maybe John Jones and Daniel Cormier, who they've put, and honestly, they could be higher. They're putting them in together in the room or in the cage, and they were gonna figure out who's the best. And this was gonna turn into an awesome trilogy. And honestly, it could have been a trilogy almost twice over now. And I still haven't even seen it once.
Oh, you know what they say? Oh God, 6 times better be the fucking charm, man.
I can't see Dana trying to do it again. This fight is legitimately cursed. Like, I really can't picture him being like, you know what? Again. Let's book this again. Definitely nothing's going to happen this time.
Yeah, let's just up the ante, put them on a boat in the middle of fucking ocean, middle of the Pacific, why not? And then just let them go there.
Why you stealing Strangle's idea?
What?
You don't know the whole Strangle?
Nah, I heard them talk about that shit with the basketball and everything, but not with the fighting.
If you're into MMA stuff, follow the Strangle Squad on Instagram. It is fucking hysterical. But yeah, this guy's been talking about it since this whole thing happened. Since it was an idea that they might not be able to find out where they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second bit of fuckery that occurred on the UFC side of things. I am so fucking sick of John Jones.
Oh, another one who can't stay out of his own way.
I cannot fucking stand John Jones anymore. Every time I'm trying to be like, yo, this guy's on the right path. He's doing the right thing. He fucks it up with something. He crashes his car with a DUI. He hits a pregnant woman with a DUI. He pops for coke. He pops for steroids. He pops for steroids again. And we all accept that that's a pulsing effect. And it's picograms and salt in a pool and shit. And then he gets past all that. He starts staying active. He's winning. And what? Because he can't handle being bored in his house? He has to go, drink a bottle, drive around, and shoot a gun. Like, you're fucking stupid, brother.
Yeah.
You're a fucking grown man. You know better than that. Like, I know he might have, like, substance things or anything like that, and I don't know what it's like to be the best fighter in the world with all that fame and all that money. It's from such a young age. But I don't care. You have to know better than that.
Right. I mean, let's be real. 1 DUI, all right, mistake. 2 DUIs, an accident, all right, fine. But a third one, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry, but you gotta get some help. Get your shit together and stop fucking up.
Like, I haven't seen any, like, he's going the route of Tyson to me. I see a very likely scenario where he's going to jail in this one.
Uh, Shit, that might be the only thing that saves him. I mean, look what happened when Tyson went to jail. Kind of came back, different person.
At least a little better. He understood there was consequences for things.
Right.
But man, like, I don't know how you keep getting so many chances and keep making the most of those chances just to turn around and fuck it up again.
Right. I mean, let's be real. His chances are running very thin, and he's probably got like maybe half a chance left, if any.
If anything. I'm waiting for all the facts to come out so Dana can comment on it.
Right.
And like, I'm not even one of those UFC guys that like fanboys Dana. Like, I think he's been good for fighting. Like, I think fighting wouldn't be as far along as it has been without him. But like, I'm not one of those guys who just, oh, everything Dana White says is cool because he tells the reporters to go fuck themselves. Like, and that's cool. Like, yeah, sometimes they deserve it, and sometimes that's funny. But like, I'm not one of those guys. I literally can't wait to see what Dana says about this once all the facts come out. Like, if it comes out and this is all like true and it actually happened, this is gonna be the most fun Dana White rant of all time.
Oh yeah. Like, get your popcorn ready, get your soda, make sure you go to the bathroom before this press conference because you don't want to miss a thing.
Oh my god. Like, he might run and just find the nearest TMZ camera. Like, I don't know if he could wait that long. He's done it before.
I don't think it's hard. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he has TMZ on like speed dial.
I wouldn't be surprised if he live streams himself into ESPN studios and just says, yo, put this shit up. Like, I'm fucking out.
Yo, ESPN, I got something to say this broadcast right now. Might have to censor me. Just get ready. That's what he's doing.
That'd probably be an ESPN Plus.
Yeah. Unless he knows someone on Get Up and will wiggle his way in there.
I feel like, again, going back to Pat could get him on First Take all day.
Pat could get anyone on First Take.
I know. Yeah, but so that's really the only UFC news going on right now. Because again, all the fights are canceled. They're still trying to make that one happen. Gaethje would be a fun fight. They floated Masvidal out for the idea. They floated Colby Covington out for the idea. Colby wants to fight Woodley, which I would love because I think I don't see what Colby. I don't want to say I don't see what Colby has for Tyron because as much as I dislike the guy, he's a very good fighter. His gas tank is incredible. Like, the pace he puts on people, like, I can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
But Woodley is Woodley when he's hungry and not rapping on the side and making movies and putting out like 3 movies at a time and all that fucking bullshit. Like, he's a hungry fighter. He's very cerebral. Like, I mean, look how he fought Stephen Thompson. Like, it was a boring fight, but it was the exact fight he needed to fight.
Right.
And he didn't care about anything about that. So I would love to see Colby put out by Tyron. I think that'd be great. Yeah, like they're all fun fights they're putting up. Like they're fights that I would love to see, and especially after all this time now of all these canceled cards. And when I say all, I mean like fucking 3. But um, I just nothing's gonna replace Khabib Tony for me.
No.
Even Tony McGregor, I'd still rather see Khabib Tony, to be
Yeah.
quite honest. But
I mean, dude, this is grade A, top of the line match, and now you might have to settle for, second.
yeah, but as of right now, I just want to see people fight. That's all I want. I don't care if it's boxing, kickboxing, MMA. It's been everyone always says we're oversaturated with fights. I feel the exact opposite way. I would love if there was a fight every week.
Right.
I mean, I know that's
Yeah.
not doable to be able to like remember everybody's name, but like and just know who you're rooting for. But I love having it every weekend or every other weekend. I really
Right.
do.
I mean, every now and then it's fun to watch a good fight.
I mean, every now and then is literally every second for me, but that I'm different like that.
I'm just getting into fighting. Like I gotta tell myself, no steel chairs in the UFC octagon.
That's true. Every time I talk to my father about it, actually, he goes, "Isn't that like fake WWE shit?" And I'm just like, "No, father. It's people actually fucking punching each other."
No, it's real.
Yeah. All right. So, well, we can get off this for a little bit just because I can go on for it all day, and you just it's not your thing as much as it is mine.
It's okay.
So
I'm like you're
I will bring you back into the wheelhouse. And because we're all self-isolating, quarantining, whatever the fuck you want to call it, social distancing. Right now we can't see each other. Everyone's on Netflix, everyone's playing video games, everyone's doing all that. But Netflix is the thing I really want to talk about right now, and everybody knows what's coming. It is the most wild thing I've ever seen in my life. Every time I thought I had it locked in, I just didn't. And like, you obviously already know what I'm talking about. It's Tiger King. Tiger King is just motherfucking tigers and gay rednecks and murder for hire. And that bitch definitely murdered her husband. I don't give a fuck who you are.
He definitely fed her husband to Tigger, and Tigger was happy for that meal. Let's be real.
Oh no, yeah. I'm not like I feel like the feeding him to the tiger thing is just kind of like could be just be lore, but if he's buried in that tiger park, like that does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, that was a wild documentary, docu-series, whatever you call it. I mean, dude, them three, Joe Exotica, that girl, what's her name? Carol something.
Baskins.
Yeah, there you
Carol
go.
Baskins.
And the other dude, they all doing the same damn thing. And they all snitching, which is hilarious. I would be like, dude.
No, Joe Exotic and the cult guy were like buddy buddy.
My bad. They had an understanding. You do your shit, I do my shit. Man, we might trade some tigers or some ligers or some lions, whatever. But Carol, man, she's ruthless. You don't want to cross her on a bad day.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she was trying to make herself look good in that documentary, but she just made herself look like a serial killer. Like a straight up serial killer.
Oh, yeah. Like, she might have a couple screws loose up in there.
Might? A couple? I think these are all terms that don't describe Carol Baskins.
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't, fully say. Not disclosure, but whatever.
Are you Carol Baskins, Dev?
Hell no. Do I look like a white woman from Florida? Let me just go brush my hair and stuff, you know.
You might be the new Rachel Dolezal. I don't know.
Nah, I
Did you kill your husband, Dev?
didn't
Did
even know I had one.
All right. But yeah, literally every time I I thought I had a read, I thought I knew, okay, this is what this show is. This is what's happening. It starts off you just thinking you're seeing like the dangerous in and outs of the tiger rescue world, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden it's just like, "Hi, I'm Joe Exotic. I'm a gay cowboy who wants to fucking shoot government officials. What of it?" And you're just like, "Okay. So now we got this guy. That's pretty cool. Like it's getting a little more interesting." So it's a little bit mix of both, and then this Carol Baskin lady comes out, and she seems so nice. She seems a little fake, but she seems like a nice lady who's trying to help these tigers. And
Right.
then, and then they bust out the old videos of her doing the exact same thing, showing people how to breed these tigers, and you're just like, all right, maybe she changed, maybe she's all right, and maybe she like because of this she went back, and that's how this all happened and how we got here. And then all of a sudden they're just randomly talking in conversation and it goes, yeah, and that lady killed her husband. Excuse me, pause?
You know, pump the brakes, hit the E brake real quick. What did you just say? She killed her husband? What?
Yeah. And then you go through that whole thing where she definitely killed that guy.
Mm-hmm.
She's making jokes about it. She never even she fake cried once on the old newsreels they had. The rest of them are just being like, yeah, we don't know. We'll figure it out. It's just like, lady, like, pretend a little harder.
Right.
And then she goes and steals the documents from the daughters and gets her own will.
So you're making more shady decisions on top of murdering your husband. Like, I'm a detective.
And
But also,
this was all in the process, I'm sorry. But this was all in the process of him getting his legal affairs together to divorce her and leave her with nothing.
right.
And now she got everything.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's something right out of a soap opera.
But then they go from there, and the Joe Exotic guy's friend, I forget his name right now, literally has a harem of women that he's keeping like drugged and just making them feel like such shit that they can't leave him.
Yeah. You telling me you want to have these girls working, was it like 18 hours a day, telling them they can't leave, paying them $100 a week, $400 a month?
$100
Like,
a week. That is $20 a day. That is less
yeah,
than $1 an hour, or a little more than $1 an hour because they work like 16-hour days.
yeah. And then you're telling me that, oh yeah, like you can leave, but you have nothing. And like, oh yeah, we made you a doctor's appointment, but for breast implants, you don't have
But
a say.
yeah, and that's the thing about crazy people like that. They're like, yeah, you can leave. But what are you going to leave with? You have no house. You have no money. They made sure of that. You had no car. You have no friends. He made you get rid of all of those. You haven't seen your family in 10 years. They think you've disowned them. And now all of a sudden you're just going to walk back in? Like, what options do you have?
Fuck, just stay there for another year and hopefully it'll change.
But it never does.
Never does.
And then just to top it all off, a new guy comes in and just steals the fucking zoo from the guy.
Yo, that was, I don't even know how. How the hell do you steal a zoo? Like,
Well, he was just the ultimate con man. You saw it leading up. You just saw it. He understood that this Joe Exotic guy just needs his ego fed in any way. As long as you're keeping his ego fed, he's butter in your hand.
right.
So by cursing out the people on the phone when they're talking about the payments, like the Carol Baskins people, and quite honestly, I think he's the one who, like, I'm not saying Joe Exotic had no part in it, but the Jeff guy, the Jeff Lowe guy, he definitely had a major part in trying to kill that woman.
Oh yeah, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty, so to speak. He might not actually do the killing, but he's the one that gets the wheels turning.
I feel really bad for that guy's wife too, because she seems like, from the little bit that she talked in it, she actually seemed like a decent person who just got in over her head with this guy.
Yep. And now she's stuck with him for at least 18 years.
Dude, I feel bad for almost every woman on that show except for Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
And then there was the one good person on that show who was, um, I found out, I don't know how credible this is, but I found out that after that, during the show, they misgendered her because I guess he's a trans man. But the one with who got their arm bitten off,
Oh, heard?
yeah, she was the one seemingly good person in that show. She was the one who seemingly cared about the animals, wasn't into all the fuck shit, just like was happy with how things were for her at the time, or him. I don't know if this is true, so I don't want to like
Happy. Yeah.
just be that guy who just, yeah. So I'm just gonna stick with them for right now. Um, so they seemed like the one just kind of even sane person, because even Carol's husband, like, he was a fucking weirdo too. When he started singing to her in the garden like that,
What was that about?
I thought it was like, I'm sorry, it's not 1786 anymore, bruh, but like, y'all can listen to a song. Go away.
Like, yo, don't be trying to come out here with a new album. You go put something else on. Let the singers do what they got to do. You don't need to be serenading your girl in a garden during a random interview. Like
All of them, all they were doing was everything they did was just for attention. That's all they wanted. Every single one of them. Whether it was singing to his wife or Joe doing the music videos, or that weren't actually him singing. We came to find out after.
Well, I
which
mean,
isn't surprising, but
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was listening to it and I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, buddy, I don't think this is you singing this song.
oh, it definitely wasn't. No, but they've come out, and like, people have apparently come out. I forget the name of the band. I'm sorry. But
Okay.
two people wrote the song and like recorded the song for him, and didn't and told him it was for a reality show, and they gave him the song, and he just recorded these psychotic music videos over them.
They weren't even that great. that was some like that was some
I'm,
whack
I mean, I'll give
CG.
it to him. He has like fucking tigers and shit, so like that's automatically a step up from someone else's cheesy music video, but
True.
like, it still is what it was.
Right.
And there are people out here who like love these people. Like, think they're like super, well, love Joe Exotic, let's put it that way. Think they're like superstars, that they're so funny. Like, I hate everyone on that show. All of them were just garbage human beings.
Oh yeah. They were all predators.
Exactly. They were all people preying on weak people who had nothing else, who had no other options.
I mean, well, Joe even said, like, yeah, he would get tips from the bus stop, be like, hey, there's a kid out here that's been here for like 2 days. Nothing hasn't left. Might want to go pick him up, give him a job and stuff. Here comes Joe. Hey man, you're down on your luck. Hey, come work for me. I'll pay you like nickels and stuff. Give you a place to stay.
I think it was like $136 a week. So at least they got a $36 raise from the guy in Florida.
That is true. And all the drugs.
I don't know what taxes are like in Oklahoma, so that might just be to cover taxes.
So if you work for a tiger guy or girl, it's basically $100 no matter what.
Could be. Could be. Um, yeah, but that was just it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I don't know how anything would top it. Like I don't think you can top it. It's just one of those. It's almost like it was a badly written movie that actually happened.
Yeah,
Like if you wrote that movie, you'd be like, this movie is fucking terrible. Like this would never happen. There's no way.
right.
But all of it is, and it's fucking crazy.
I was gonna say like I don't think there's another Joe Exotic out there. Like I believe that man is one in a million.
See, I'm not 100% there with you because every time, like every one of these like fucking big cat owner guys, they seem to have that thing of just they need attention. And I think with needs of attention, you're gonna get people like that at some point. You're gonna get someone whose need for attention is so great that they're gonna run for president and governor and think they're gonna win and think they can go on the news and say, "Oh, we're gonna have a Waco if you don't do what I want."
Right.
Like, who thinks that's a good idea? Like, bringing it back to the point I made about AB earlier. You're a grown ass man. You know better than that. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's certain things you can say, certain things you can do. Going around on the news saying, hey, we don't like her, and if they come on my property, we're gonna have a little mini Waco over here. Not one of them.
You definitely can't do that. I'm sorry. um. Yeah, but we've been on that for a little bit. So, some other things we've been watching: the Chris Benoit documentary. That one cut me deep.
Oh God, he was so good.
He was
He
so
was so
like it was hard because it's a documentary that definitely humanized him a lot. Like you wanted to root for the guy, but it just ended so hard and terribly with his wife and his family and or his at least one son, the other son is still alive. It was really hard. Like it kind of obviously to a lesser extent, but it kind of made you feel what the people in his life, the people in the documentary, the Chavo Guerreros, the Vicky Guerreros, the Chris Jerichos of the world, who just knew the guy and knew him as a great guy, kind of what I feel like what they experienced.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, to a much lesser extent, because you don't know the people and these aren't the people in your lives. But like the first half, you wanted to root for him so bad, even though he stole that guy's wife, even though like he was doing steroids and he was like there were some bad aspects of it, and maybe he wasn't the best father because he was always wrestling. He was a guy who wanted to be great. He worked really hard. Everyone said was a completely great guy. And then all of a sudden, all of that is just gone. It's taken away.
Yeah, I
By
mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, dude, man, worked hard. Gave everything he had to wrestle and become one of the guys and be the best. And even like when he wasn't on the road, he was doing the best he can as a father and stuff. But like, yeah, it just sucks that like, yo, this guy who works so hard and like everyone can get behind and like it's a great story, just does the unthinkable and murders his wife and 7-year-old son.
yeah, I don't think anyone in that documentary until that point had a bad thing to say about Chris. He took his wife out of an abusive relationship. He apparently
Yeah.
loved his children. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted the best for them, but obviously I believe CTE would play a factor, especially because they explained that the CTE he had was not only in the normal spots, I think was like the cerebral cortex or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not a brain surgeon, but they were explaining how he also had it in places where you don't normally find it, such as the places that would affect this type of behavior, this
Right.
rational thought.
Well, they even said though that when Harley Race came out and was doing the flying headbutt, at the end, he was like, "Yo, don't do this move. It messes up your old age." And then when Dynamite Kid comes out and he's doing it after he's done wrestling, he's like, "Yo, don't do this move. Like, it'll fuck you up." And then Chris Benoit is like, "I got this," and he's doing it. And at the end, it fucked him up.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's a guy, like, I don't really watch wrestling now, but I have a cousin who's really into it, and he keeps me kind of up to date. I'm pretty sure there's a guy in there right now having the same argument. I don't understand why it's not a banned move. Like, they banned chair shots to the head, which,
Right.
cool, good. Like, I mean, it looked cool, and I think there are ways to do it with less damage,
Right.
but also at the same time, like, guys have talked about how back in the day it was just kind of like a rite of passage to take the big chair shot and say you got back up. But if you're gonna outlaw the chair shot to the head, you gotta outlaw that move.
Yeah.
You're jumping from 5, 6, 7 feet in the air, jumping even higher to get more air, and landing straight on your forehead. Like
Right.
I understand there's like a work to it, but you're still taking a lot of force on your head.
Right. Like, I'm surprised, like you said, that it's not a bad move if it isn't already. Like, as soon as like the details came out about Benoit, if they didn't do it, they should have been like, you know what, done. No one's ever allowed to do that move. Like,
Exactly.
you don't see people doing pile drivers anymore, except for I think Undertaker and Kane, and their grandfathered in. And I'm pretty sure like right now it's just like, hey, pile drivers, nah. Couple other moves, nah. Like, don't even try it. Like, I don't care how safe you are. We're not taking that risk.
Yeah, and because those are moves you have to do right. Because look what happened to Stone Cold. It for the rest of his career, that's who he was.
Right.
He was a guy with a bad neck,
Mm-hmm.
just because Owen Hart messed up one move.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It killed what was left of my inner child in me to know that Eddie Guerrero died in Chavo Guerrero's arms.
Oh
Like that hit me so hard.
Got
And
me
then
right in the heart.
it also hit me really hard just how much I feel bad for hating Vicky Guerrero like I used to.
Yo, but that was her job. Like, if she heard you now, she would probably say, like, thank you. Like, I wanted people to hate me because, like, that's my job. Like, I'm a heel.
No,
I'm
I get it that she's probably happy about it, but just knowing like because back when you're young, you think it's a little like you think it's real, like
Uh-oh.
you actually hate these people. Like I despise that woman. If I saw her in the streets, I would have slapped her. Like I hated that woman, and she was going through so much. She
Mm-hmm.
really was. Oh my god, I feel terrible about that. Even though I know that's the reaction she wanted.
Yeah, you got to give her a round of applause, though, because, like, damn, to go through all that and perform the way she did and to have people like you and me hate her.
And she still came out on the other side. So she's with
Look at
someone
her.
now, isn't she? She's with like AEW or something like that. I really don't know much about AEW except that Jim Ross is there now.
And Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho's there too. I know that.
Yeah, I think that's about as much as I know about AEW.
I mean, they seem to be gaining some traction. I'm hearing a lot about them.
Yeah.
It took me years to hear about TNA, and still I saw it like one time, and then their video game was cool, so I played that. Like
Yo,
back in the day, their video game was cool.
TNA, they they're interesting. Like, I would come in and out of watching TNA every now and then, and to see them go from big studio, I mean big arena, to wrestling in like a hexagon, to fucking you're wrestling in a traditional square, and now they're like doing some random show somewhere in front of like
Wait,
100 people.
wait, they got rid of the hexagon or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they're back.
They were kind of when I was aging out a little more.
Yeah, they're back to a regular square. a square circle, if you will.
I would never watch that. That was part of what made them cool. And
Dude,
and then they also let Jeff Hardy get super fucked up on drugs and then go on live TV, which is crazy.
be about super fucked up on drugs. Rob Van Dam, he's on TNA right now, and
Really?
I've like seen, yeah, I've seen like one or two of his matches there, and oh my god, he looks like he's so far gone.
Dude, they do that to everyone. They did it with Jeff Hardy. They did it to Scott Hall when he was going through his shit. They did it.
I forgot he was in TNA.
Yeah, him and Kevin Nash.
Right.
I think they brought X-Pac in for a while too.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
It
think
was
they formed like their version of NWO over there.
yeah, or it was NWO or DX or one of them. It was like
Yeah.
supposed to be like their version of that, but I don't think it ever really panned out because Scott Hall was just so far gone at that point. I from what I saw like Jake the Snake's documentary, and I know he was working with Jeff Jarrett too, so hopefully he's getting better, just like Jake the Snake did.
Yep. I think he is. I think he does like DDP's yoga. I've heard he did DDP's yoga.
DDP, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay. And that like helped him like get his life together.
Yeah, I know it did. I know it did wonders for Jake the Snake.
Yeah. Who
So
apparently on AEW.
that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
actually pretty happy to hear that.
Right?
Yeah, but I think this might be a good time to call it, just because we've gotten to some real depressing topics over here. We went from fun Joe Exotic to super depressing Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Should have done it backwards. Probably should have done Benoit first, then Joe Exotic.
Yeah, probably would have been better to end on a happy note, but that's just not really my style. I'm sorry, I did not get that.
I just said, fuck it, we're learning. We'll figure this shit out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. First show in the books. We're still trying to figure out the format and everything of it. This came together very quickly, and we will, as we move on, things will change, things will get a little better, but we wanted to get started. We wanted to figure it out. We wanted to learn on the fly, and I guess that's what we're doing.
Damn.
So from everyone in the basement and Devin's secret bat cave, wherever the hell he is, we'll catch you guys next time. And I don't have a catchphrase. We need to get a catchphrase.
We're working on that one too.
We'll
figure.
We're working on the catchphrase. We'll figure that out. So, see ya.
Deuces.